What is up, my friends? Hope you are all quarantining, social distancing, and staying safe. So, before we get into this, I just want to say if you haven't checked out the show, definitely go watch it because it is a must see, especially under quarantine and all that. You gotta get something to watch. It's available on Hulu through FX. And let me tell you, I've been looking forward to the show ever since the teaser trailers or whatever you want to call it during American Horror Story, and now we finally have it. So Devs is from Alex Garland, who has given us some pretty amazing sci-fi movies in the last decade, including Annihilation and Ex Machina. Now, all I think I've talked about not Ex Machina. I've talked about Annihilation. Maybe I'll do a video on Ex Machina pretty soon. So today I am here to talk about the latest show, as I said, Devs, which is on FX Hulu. Go check it out right now. So no spoilers in this section right now, but in about 5 seconds we're about to get into spoilers because we're here to break down the whole ending. So spoilers ahead right now. So Debs follows Lily, who is trying to unravel the mystery behind her boyfriend and colleague Sergei's mysterious death. Not her boyfriend and her colleague. Her boyfriend is also her colleague. That's what I meant. But you probably know that because you watched the show, right? Why did I say show? Show. Anyways, after his mysterious death after entering this lucrative program called DEVS at the company that they work for, Amaya. She begins to unravel the mystery that lies behind DEVS and the mysterious force, the man behind the company, Amaya, and the mystery of DEVS. And how much mystery am I going to talk about, right? So before we can get into anything, DEVS, what is the machine? What does it do? It basically is a machine that can see into the future. It can see into the past. And it basically is also proven that it actually can see different multiverses. Multiverses? Different universes? Whatever you want to call it. So yes, my friends, this pretty much says that there is a multiverse out there where there are different scenarios going on. So one event leads to different events depending on how that event happens. And we see this play out, and Forrest is like, hell no, there is no multiverse. There is only determinism, which means that everything that you're doing right now, it's already predetermined. And if you try to say, well, I'll just do this random thing, it's because you thought about that and you wanted to do that, so it was already determined as well. And Forrest really believes in this. And I think the reason that Forrest really believes in this so hard is that he doesn't want to believe that there is a universe where something that he causes in the show could have gone the other way, and that thing is his daughter and his wife's death. And his daughter's name is Amaya, so hence the name of the company. So he really believes in his heart that it happened because it was going to happen, and that's that. And now he is just trying to pretty much come to peace with it. So when a developer named Lyndon tells him about the multiverse and all of this, he pretty much just goes insane about it, and he fires him and tells him not to come back. He makes him a millionaire. And as I said in my episode breakdown of that episode, I would have done the same thing if I would have become a millionaire. I would have been like, deuce. Anyways, we have Forrest here who doesn't like this idea that there is a multiverse out there. He wants it to be more of determinism, that everything's been written out and it's going to happen as it's going to happen, and you can't change anything about that. And that, I think, brings him peace and comfort of what already happened with the accident. But as we go more and more with the show, we realize that that is not the case, and there is actually choices that can be made that will alter the universe you're in. So let's get on to the ending, my friends, where we have Lily pretty much about to come into Debs because she wants to kill Forrest, and she realizes that she pretty much is playing into what Forrest and Katie had been telling her the night before when she went with Jamie to their home, that this is just how things were going to play out. She was going to come to Devs, and then she is able to also see the simulation of this happening through the Devs machine, and she realizes that it's like crazy how this all was predicted and it's happening. So as we get to the ending where Lily is supposed to go with Forrest on the elevator, ultimately shoot Forrest and kill him, and just kill both of them because the air pressure in the elevator, because it's like a thing that floats, falls, and then they both die. And that's pretty much what Forrest and Katie had seen all along, and what they showed Lily as well moments before this event happens. Right before this event is happening, however, she decides that she's not going to play along anymore, and at the last minute decides to change it by going into the elevator with Forrest but throwing the gun away. So now this isn't going to happen. Forrest is freaking out because this just pretty much goes against everything he thought was real. Katie's on the other side thinking that she is like how this was not supposed to happen, and Lily's just there like a bamf, like it's happening because I made it happen and I have choice and this is how it's gonna be. What we do see, however, is that Stewart, one of the developers that was at DEVS, is still there. He sees this happening, and I'm pretty sure that Stewart had already seen this event happen, and I think that Stewart was like, it has to happen because the machine said it, so it's happening. So he pretty much makes it where he pulls the emergency on the elevator and lets it fall down, killing both Forrest and Lily. Katie says why, and he says because it's predetermined, and leaves. We then see both of Forrest and Lily's bodies on the floor, and pretty much they're dead. Katie, however, is able to bring Forrest's data into the simulation of DEVS and is able to speak to him back and forth through the screen where they usually see all of the past and future events. He tells her to just do what she needs to do to take him back to them, which he's talking about his daughter and his wife. She says, okay, and pretty much we see Lily at her apartment with Sergey, and we see Forrest with his family. She pretty much breaks everything off with Sergey after this, and this is because she asked for his phone, and she's like about to open his Sudoku app, which we know has his whole Russian thing, and he's like pissed off about this, and she realizes that she's pretty much back where it started. We see her go to the Amaya campus with him, and then she sees Forrest, and she goes off and finds him, where he basically explains everything to her, because she's pretty much like, I thought that we died. And he's like, we did, but now we are pretty much in the simulation, another universe of sorts, but it's a simulation inside of DEVS. And call it your paradise, call it heaven, he says, but this is what it is. We get a second chance, you and me, to do things right this time. So in this simulation, DEVS does not exist. It is just all in that real world. They are living inside this machine in a perfectly crafted world that Katie is looking over, as we see in a scene with the senator that we had seen earlier, where she is showing this machine to her and tells her that the machine has to keep running because Forrest is in it and he's living, and if it were to go off, it would pretty much go off everything for us as well. So I think that we definitely see that Lily decides to follow Forrest's teachings, I guess you could say, and she goes on to find Jamie, and they are able to live the life that they were talking about right before Jamie's death. And all I have to say is nobody show Elon Musk this, because that man will get on and make a DEVS machine. You watch. He always talks about the simulation. But what does that ending mean? Does it mean that they are in an alternate universe of sorts? Well, I pretty much took it as a kind of sorta, but not really. I'm sort of taking this as they have decided to just pretty much live in a made-up reality where everything is pretty much perfectly like suited for them, and it's interesting to know if the characters that are around them know that they are a simulation as well, or they don't, because that would be interesting to see, because we don't really get to see many of the other characters' interactions except for Sergey. We get a little bit of him. Forrest and his family, we don't see his family pretty much interact with Lily that much, so we're not sure how that works. But Lily and Jamie at the end embracing each other, I thought that felt genuine. So I think that these people in this world don't know their simulations really, but they do have the data of like the person in them, so they will act as that person. So I'm wondering exactly how Forrest and Lily will be able to pretty much live in this world with all the back knowledge they have about this world and the world they left behind as well. I think that would be a pretty interesting follow-up to have. Forrest does mention it, however, briefly, as they have their final encounter of them pretty much being in their paradise but still living with the hell of what's happened before. But in time, he says that they should be able to get over that and live in this world as they should. So yeah, I think that this is pretty much as close to heaven as they can get in Forrest's eyes. And Lily, I think, just being dead with Forrest was dragged into this, but at the same time, I don't think it was like an accident, because Forrest and Katie have had talks before how they think Lily is special, and she sort of became a messiah in a way as well, as Katie points out that she pretty much showed Forrest that there is free will and that there is something else out there, and pretty much became the teacher at the end of it, as Forrest had been trying to portray himself as well. whether it was by accident or by choice, he sort of did become that Messiah, and we see it with the halo representation that we saw Lily have right before she entered into DEVS, which meant that she was bringing these new teachings with her. So as we know, DEVS is something that stands for Dos, which is Latin for God. So God is in the machine, so heaven is in the machine as well, is pretty much what this show, I think, is saying. So that was my thoughts on it. Alex Garland, who is also the creator of the show, had a couple of things to say about what he thinks this means. So he went on to say, this is a paradox within Christianity, echoing this, deliberately recreating a scenario where Eve takes the apple from the tree and then is punished by God for the act of free will. She was instructed not to do it. She exercised her free will and she did do it. As a consequence, God punished Adam and Eve by sending them out of paradise. Now, if God is omniscient, is all-knowing, and all-powerful, then God knew before Eve took the apple from the tree that that is what she'd do. In fact, if God is all-knowing, he knew before he even created Eve that that is what she would do. He's punishing her for something that was predetermined, and that's not her fault. In a way, that's his fault, having done it. Or God didn't know she was going to eat the apple. Then it was an act of free will, in which case God is no longer all-knowing and all-powerful because he didn't know that that's what she was going to do. So Garland basically had that to say, and it makes me want to rewatch the series in a more, I would say, religious way of showing, because yeah, I saw the show one time, and you could definitely pick up the religious things here and there. I thought also Lily being named Lily as sort of Lilith as well, the first woman. I thought that that was pretty interesting. So I might do a bigger breakdown of the show if that's the case, if y'all want to watch that. But I just wanted to give my thoughts on the ending as well as talk about Alex Garland's thoughts on the ending. And I think it's just up for debate as well of what you think, if that is a humane thing that they did, living in this simulation with all of these thoughts that they have. And this is something that he has also went on to say, if you are living and experiencing the thing, that's what real is, so it's not unreal. It's just that they have an extra bit of information. So what are your thoughts on the simulation living there? Like, is that something you think makes any sense to do, or do you think that you're just pretty much punishing yourself knowing that this is all fake around you? Sort of reminds me of Vanilla Sky. But let me know your thoughts below. And anyways, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? We are on the road to 15,000 subscribers. We are so close to getting there. I hope we can reach that by May. Hopefully, my friends. So make sure you check out all my videos. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see all of you next time. As always, stay positive.